We are back right now with the second game of the second series coming up so far. Sweden is 3-0 versus Norway and Denmark. Ivdiv, is it going to be a 4-0? As you get the mic down, that is very
Yeah,
helpful. If
I
you're gonna...
need this to be able to talk.
That is correct.
Well, as I said, I wanted to see some rivalry in the finals. I wanted to see Sweden versus Denmark, but PPK seem to want to stop that dream of mine.
It was really close, though. In the first series, we saw a 24-minute surrender and a 23-minute surrender. In the first game, now, I think it went like 35 minutes, and it was really back and forth.
Yeah, for the first 15 minutes, it was super back and forth, and Singularity had a really good shot of winning the game when they ended up getting 2 mountain drakes and a great skirmish in the bot lane. But after that, Kronos found a super good engage, got the Nash, and just bought some time for the Tristana, and then Cookie just went off and killed everyone.
Yeah, and we saw the importance of the tanks right there. 3 big tanks on each team doing so much up in that front line, and one team with a good tank-killing AD carry in the Tristana, and one team without a good tank-killing AD carry with the Ezreal. That was the deciding factor.
Yeah, we saw PPK really drafted for a good carrying ADC, and SNG, they didn't have much to choose between. We talked a bit about off stream that they should have maybe picked Vayne and just really went all in for
kind of jokingly, but kind of seriously as well.
They needed damage, or at least Ezreal needed to not buy Gauntlet. He needed to or I don't think Triforce would have made a difference, but they had to change up something.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think pinching down the AD carry pool is going to be a very intelligent choice, given that there are really few ADs that are super strong in the meta. I think what we've been seeing highly prioritized is Caitlyn, Tristana, and Varus, and then Saya sometimes if you have Rakan, and then there's kind of Sivir, kind of Ezreal, but the AD carry pool is not that large at the moment.
No, and especially not for tank shredding ADs and against a team as beefy as PPK was last game. It's super hard to find a good AD when all the tank shredders are banned.
Speaking more of the draft, though, let's jump into the draft for game number 2. Pick and bans are here, and we all know how deciding of a factor that can be. Is it going to be the AD carry targeting once more, or what strategy will we be seeing? Sides are switched, though, so Singularity has the potential to get a first pick down.
We see PPK here again banning the Caitlyn. We talked a bit earlier about how a lot of teams at this level, they can't seem to make the Caitlyn work. They can't get her out of the laning phase with a big lead. It's always like a 10 CS lead, and they might not even get the first turret. So I'm a bit confused by this ban, I guess, but maybe they just don't. They really want their own bot lane to go off.
Looks like they will be targeting the bottom lane here with Tristana and Caitlyn off the table. Let's see if they want to ban Varus as well. If they do that, Magic goes towards the Saya, and then Cookie maybe towards the Sivir. So interested to see if PPK really wants to target these AD carry pool. Meanwhile, on the side of Singularity, they're banning out the top lane carries for Finn and the signature Janna from KRP off the table. Respect ban from Singularity.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe they just don't want to play against Cookie with an Ardent. I suppose that's the main reason here. We see, well, not an ADC, but like an ADC-esque mid laner getting banned here.
Let's see if Singularity wants to go for the Varus here with the strong AD carry left open. Then there would be the potential for Saya Rakan for PPK, but I'm not sure if KRP is a Rakan player. You've played more with him than I have. Do you think he is?
He claims that he is, but I would beg to differ.
Wow, the flame coming out!
They might pick Saya Rakan here. They are on red side, and they have the possibility to just go and snatch this insanely strong bot lane here. Oh, they actually will opt into a Sivir, which is a bit surprising.
With Varus still open, like one of the premier tank-killing AD carries, they still prioritize the Sivir. Highlights more of a supportive AD carry, so you really need some more damage coming out of perhaps the mid lane or the top laner. So are they maybe looking to set Finn up with their carry top laner here? I think we're about to find out.
With the Galio pick, it's very likely. They did ban both Camille and Kled. Kled is one of Finn's most played champs and one of his signature champs. We see the Saya Rakan here.
The Saya Rakan, very strong 2v2 lane. Not sure if it's the strongest in the game, but definitely up there among the strongest. Olaf in the jungle as well. We've seen that such a strong jungler so far in the tournament. So good pick so far for Singularity. I like this. They've got some strong engage and some strong team fighting potential.
Yeah, Olaf has really been popping off, at least today. You have more experience of this tournament than me, but as you say, a great Olaf can really make a lot of stuff happen in the early game.
Not sure if I agree with this from PPK. I mean, you're targeting the AD carry pool so heavily, you're still giving Singularity Sire Khan and getting the Braum Sivir lane for yourself, which is really just saying we want to stay safe, we don't want to do anything, and the 2 versus 2 up against the aggressive playmakers of Sire and Rakan. What do you think of this strategy when it comes to getting a good bot lane matchup?
I feel like maybe they were a bit conflicted within this draft. They started to focus a lot on the bot lane, and then they were like, whatever, they can have Sire Khan.
Could be. Still, gotta say that Sivir is gonna be a lot stronger against the Rakan engage than a Varus would be, since you have that spell shield to counter that out. So Varus would have been a risky pick right now. Let's see what the targeting gonna be right now. With Eternity already locking in the Galio, they're gonna be targeting the mid lane pool of Raxen so far, as well as getting a tank off the table from lineups. Meanwhile, the Respect Band coming in on the sack from Kronos, which had such a strong showing last game.
Yeah, Kronos really just turned that game upside down with his sack, found great engages. One in particular that kind of just won them the game, in my opinion. And I'm a bit surprised that Singularity does not ban another jungler here, as they have already picked up Olaf. However, there are still a couple of junglers left, so it's hard to completely ban out his pool here.
I think that Sejuani is an underrated jungler at the moment. She does not seem to be valued highly. I think it can work out great when you're looking for a more defensive jungler. You have a good synergy with Braum and Sejuani. You have several melee champions with Galio as well, but choosing to go for the Skarner instead.
Yeah, maybe this is Singularity's strategy. They want to force this Olaf into Skarner matchup, which we saw earlier today, where Olaf just kind of ran away with the game. Super hard for Skarner to play that matchup when you fall behind, or if you fall behind. So definitely a good strategy here from Singularity.
We'll see. I'm not going to be baited by this Zoe hover. I'm not going to talk about that until it's locked in. Meanwhile, I think I'm really looking forward to seeing the last pick from PPK. I think that if they get Finn onto a top lane carry, that would work out well, both up against the Shen in the top lane and with the team comp that they've got going, because they have a lot of sort of supportive champions. I mean, Sivir is more of a utility AD carry. Galio is more of a supportive mid laner. So really want to see Finn going on towards the carry here. 2 of the strongest carries banned out, though.
Ooh, and there he hovers the Gnar. We saw some really fun Gnar builds a couple of patches ago, where top laners actually built like 4 damage items and a Black Cleaver, and then just kind of went off on a side lane. Perhaps we'll see that this game. I do hope we do.
Yeah, it is a good matchup for the Gnar into the Shen. Of course, we are on 8.5, so we have been seeing some substantial nerfs of the, the Frozen Mallet, which is basically targeted at Gnar specifically. Still a good matchup into the Shen and can contribute a lot in the team fight phase. The final pick for Singularity as well was the Asir, which is, of course, just a solid mid laner in general. Looking more towards the team comps, do you have a favorite here?
Yeah, I do actually think PPK has an edge here again. Singularity they have a pretty well-rounded comp this game as well. However, Asir might struggle to keep up with Galio in the early game. Before you get 1 or 2 items as Asir, it's very easy for Galio to just shove in the lanes, and then he can always find a way to back up Kronos on this Skarner in this matchup that should be in Singularity's favor.
Yeah, we'll have to see if we can make something work there on the Olaf. We saw Aesthetic just pop off earlier on the Olaf, so hopefully Roll Again will be able to make these things happen. So if we're going to be realizing the dream of a Sweden versus Denmark finals, I have to agree with you, that would be pretty dank to see.
Yeah, Rollig had actually had a very good early game last game. He just found great opportunities of counter jungling. He did not really find any good ganks, however he did have great vision control and dragon control, so I have a lot of faith in this Olaf here.
Yeah, we are about to jump into game number 2. Of course, these teams are playing for a spot in the finals, which will mean a lot of prize money. It will mean a spot in the European Cup. It will mean the opportunity to come out here to Stockholm to play the offline finals, to represent your country, your organization, your team in the finals. So there's a lot on the line. Let's jump into the Rift.
We see here Singularity walking as a squad into the bot lane here. Probably going to look for some early vision, or maybe just to get a cheesy pick here.
Rakan with the W level 1 can make something happen. I don't think he has chosen Ace to skill up to anything level 1, but they have the potential to make a pick. And oh, this might be the phase check for KRP. He sees that there are people in the bush, but does not flash the Rakan W, and that's going to be first blood. What a mistake from KRP. He used the Q, saw that there were people in there, still didn't turn around, and did not flash the Rakan W. 2 mistakes in a row, really gets punished.
Yeah, I mean, at points like this, it's always nice to get a first blood, but it usually does not matter that much if no summoners are traded. It's a nice gold lead to have. However, KRP still sits on his flash and his ignite, and he should be comfortable in this 2v2 in the bot lane. And Shen, he gets a cloth armor. It's just gonna mean that he has a bit of an easier time in the top lane.
Yeah, cloth armor and 2 more potions here will be pretty good up against this. Gnar, of course, does have the extra sustain and defensive stats early on in Versus. This Gnar that can become a problem potentially in the 1v1 situation for Finn. Do think that is pretty nice for Singularity. We are, of course, about to see if this Gnar is going to be the damage build that you talked about earlier, where you can go for even stuff like Runan's Hurricane to get with like a Black Cleaver and really put down the hurt with the Hyper, or if it's going to be more of the tank variant.
Here we see a lot of aggressive trading here in the bot lane. Syra Khan, arguably the strongest conventional 2v2 in the game. Level 1, obviously, they don't excel until they get level 3. See Kronos here, just farming up his jungle, and Rolling Ahead doing the same.
I have to ask you about conventional 2v2s. Are you saying that there's stuff like, I don't know, 2 melee assassins that could be stronger?
I mean, if you want to pick Pantheon and Jarvan bot lane in a competitive game, go ahead. However, I don't think it's gonna end that well for your team.
You don't think so? I don't think we've been seeing those unorthodox 2v2s in a while. I do remember, I think it was TSM that ran Annie Sinso bot lane, like Season 3 or something. That's the last game I can remember of such crazy 2v2s.
I guess we saw some variants with Mordekaiser for a little bit, but for the most part just standard support and AD.
I think also with the introduction of the Relic Shield, I think we saw some, like 2 big melee champions going into the bottom lane together. Not in competitive play though, I don't think that was ever relevant.
We see here, I was gonna say earlier how it's actually always fun, in my opinion, to see 2 teams battling it out when there are a bunch of globals, like the Galio R and the Shen ulti. Because it's always about the macro, like who can get the better engage off, who can get the first teleport or the first ulti off. It can be super explosive, especially around the bot lane.
And that is going to be interesting to see with the spellbook on Peterson as well. I think he's going to be going for a teleport at some point, so could definitely be something to add another global to the team. And a big thing about those global ultis like the Stand United and the Hero's Entrance is their long cooldown. If you invest like a Stand United towards the bottom lane, not only have you been missing out on stuff in the top lane, you're also committing such a long cooldown. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams play around those big global ultimates.
Yeah, this game is a lot different from the last game. PPK can actually do proactive things. They don't have to wait for the Tristan to farm up. So it's going to be super fun to see if they can kind of switch up their tactic for this game.
Yeah, they do have a lot of playmaking potential, but did see the Galio getting early picked in both game number 1 and game number 2. It's not a champion that we've been seeing a lot in this tournament. It's been a preferred champion of Eternity primarily, and his style has really been to go for these like side lane support. He's been playing Galio twice, he's been playing Talia twice earlier on as well, so Galio really suiting his style pretty well, but I'm not sure how well it works out with his team comp. Do you like the Galio pick here?
I do. I think Galio is still should be prioritized quite heavily. He just does so much damage. He's one of those mid laners that can fill a role that not a lot of other champs can fill. So he can do so many things. He's just a very well-rounded champion in that regard.
Kronos getting spotted out by a zombie ward here, has the Predator boots picked up, and with Predators on both junglers, they have the potential to make stuff happen on the map. Kronos and Rollickhead, where will they invest their first Predator cooldown? Where will they go for their early ganks? That is the question that we're about to find out pretty soon.
I would assume that Kronos is, should be looking for the mid lane. They have so much CC that they can chain up, and the cleanse is not going to matter against the suppression coming out of Kronos. We see him here looking for a vision around mid lane, gonna clear up this pink ward as well.
Yeah, good point there that Raxon has the cleanse, but that won't help against the Impale of Kronos, so he might even have to build a QSS if Kronos chooses to go very heavily in the mid lane, but then you're sitting with a cleanse and a QSS on your Azir, which is going to be really meaning that you're lacking damage, so not an easy situation for Raxon on this Azir.
No, and cleanse does not remove suppression, as has been proven by the Riot support team
on Twitter.
on a Twitter in a recent tweet.
That blew up.
Yeah, it did. Raxon here is just playing super safe. He just wants vision and he just wants to farm up. Azir actually is super weak against Galio, in my opinion, in the early game.
Yeah, and we can see the Galio game plan here is really apparent. Works kind of like the Echo did when it was played by Leader. Just shove the wave in with all your AoE damage, and then when you have the wave shoved in, you have so much global presence with the hero's entrance. You can join a jungle fight, you can go quickly to any side lane, so Eternity really piloting this champion in the mid lane. Well, Kronos gets spotted by a ward there, I believe, so he's going to be wasting some time here. Eternity gets shoved into the tower and Raxon gets away. Flash Impale coming out of Kronos. Is there going to be enough damage? Raxon forced to flash away as well. Rollinghead is here, had the Predator boots on cooldown, so was not able to use that to get into the fight, but still flash on Kronos for flash on Raxon.
Peterson
going aggressive on towards Cookie, did not have spell shield available. Ignite down on Peterson, forced to flash away. So trade of summoner spells there as well. Flash and heal for Menjay and Peterson used for only the ignite of KRP, so a big win for PPK. Singularity might not be done yet though. There goes the Rakan W. Ignite down on KRP, but the return kill from Cookie, Menjay and Peterson with a very strong 2v2 lane in the Saya. Rakan messing up against the Braum Sivir and gets solo killed in the 2v2.
Peterson really just fighting off more than he could chew. He just went in for the all-in twice in a row, and both times they came out worse off. I don't know why he went for the second all-in. Maybe some conflicting calls there. But Cookie just picking up a freebie. Super nice for this Sivir to get her Essence Reaver earlier.
Yeah, for sure gonna be getting a good lead in this duo lane. Even though she is slightly behind on the items, she's not gonna be, or sorry, on the CS, she's gonna be still keeping up in the item department. Relegate not able to do too much yet, still has summoners and ultimate available, whereas Kronos used his flash impale in towards the mid lane to get the flash on Raxon. So we'll see where Relegate wants to go with this Olaf, where his next objective is going to be. No super easy ganks in any lane though.
I mean, he can still go for a gank on Raxon. Raxon has to cleanse the taunt from Galio, or is just gonna get demolished. So I still think he can go for a gank mid. However, it's, as you said, it's not that easy. Raxon can just ult him away, and there's a lot of possibilities for a counter gank coming in from Rollickhead.
Kronos and Rollickhead both on the bottom side of the map. Kronos, without flash available, does have Impale and Predator, so if KRP goes for an offensive ulti, they could do something here. Peterson has no summoner spells, which could prove to be very important. Menjay with Featherstorm and Flash will be very hard to catch, but I think the target is on Peterson's forehead. that is the player that they want to take down.
Rolling head just looking bot.
Oh, Peterson, no summoners, remember, he still gets out, and good damage going down towards Cookie. Rolling Head is going to come in for the counter gank here, though. There is the TP coming in from Finn. Stand United, Heroes entrance, everyone's going to join this fight in the bottom lane. We are witnessing a 5v5 at 10 minutes, and this is a clear win for Singularity. Raxon picks up the kill. The engage going in from Peterson as well. Finn almost going down to that as well, so the 5v5 has a clear winner. It's Team Singularity with 2 kills in the 5 versus 5 fight. Will be able to perhaps pick up the bottom lane tower and the Cloud Dragon, or will they even be looking to dive Finn here? This Gnar might be overcommitted. Ults back the enemies though, so is able to get away in the end, but still bottom lane tower is going to be taking a lot of damage and it's going to go down here.
There is that explosive bot lane fight I was talking about earlier, where just everyone can show up in a matter of seconds, and Singularity coming out ahead here, looking to take this series into game 3.
Yeah, and that just shows how much more Lineups contributed than Finn in that fight. It's not because he's a stronger player, I think they are pretty evenly matched, but just because of how the champion works. When Gnar does not have Mega, he TPs in, like, I think he went for like 2 auto attacks in a queue and then jumped out and could not do anything until he was forced to use the ult, did not die under his own tower, whereas Lineups has consistent CC, has a good amount of damage with the Tiamat rush early on, so Lineups contributing a lot more to that fight than Finn did.
Yeah, I'm going to give Lineups that he actually kept track of the Gnar bar, and they went for the play when they knew that Gnar wasn't Mega. Just really a great play, Rolling Head and Lineups just tearing up the backline of PPK in that fight.
You have to question PPK though, because they were the ones to go for the aggressive play there with Kronos going in on the Skarner when they knew that Singularity could join at any time and that they did not have Mega Gnar. So there is so many variables that you have to take into consideration when you are playing against a team with so many globals, as both of these teams actually have. And right now, Finn is going to be sitting bottom lane against Lineups, where Lineups has TP and Finn does not, so even more global pressure coming out from Singularity now.
Yeah, I did give Peterson a bit of a hard time earlier as well as last game, but it's very respectable to see that he was able to find these engages despite it not working out the last time, and he found a very good engage, or 2 actually. He leveled up his ulti during the fight and forced a flash out of Finn as well.
This is going to be the dive. There is Shen TP, remember. Good engage coming in from Peterson. Takes a bunch of tower damage down. Might go down here, and there is the Impale on towards Raxon. KRP goes down. Here's the Hero's entrance to get the return kill onto Rolling Head. And I was wrong. The Shen was not able to join in with the TP advantage. And in the end, PPK coming down on top. 2-for-1 situation right there. Forced to make Singularity run away with the tail between their legs. Good fight for PPK. Perhaps they even want to go for the dive right now. Eternity is coming around from this side. There is still Feather Storm and Flash, so Menjai will be very hard to catch. Kronos goes down to the tower dive though. Not sure what they was doing there, and bad coordination coming out from them. Menjai flashes forward for the kill, and he's playing with so much more confidence on this Saya compared to what he was doing last game on the Ezreal.
It makes me so happy to see him actually playing as a carry and not as some weird slow bot like he did last game. He actually is going for these kills and it's doing so much damage.
Absolutely, and a great turnaround right there. Bit of a sloppy tower dive there from PPK, with Kronos taking the tower for a while before Eternity could even come in. And with both Feathered Storm and Flash available for Menjai, that was such an easy fight for him to get away from. Overall, a pretty good turn of events for Singularity, who is right now with about a 2.5k gold lead.
This small edge that I talked about earlier that Galio has on Azir in the laning phase, it's completely... that edge is completely gone now. Azir has been able to farm up his Nashor's Tooth and his boots, like completely free. And Azir is just gonna be able to murder the front line of PPK in these coming team fights.
Absolutely. We can speak a little bit of the items right now. We're seeing a Seek's Convergence as the first pickup for Peterson, which means that when he uses the quickness on the engage, he will slow enemies around him, and he will give bonus damage to the auto attacks of whoever he has binded the Seeks with, which is going to be Menjai here. So Menjai will be dealing 50% extra magic damage on his auto attacks. in a couple of seconds after the quickness is used from Peterson. So an interesting pickup, not an item we see too often, but I think it can be good when you're snowballing like this.
Yeah, I was gonna comment on the build path, but we see Rollickhead trying to pick off Finn here. Well, like you said, the Frost Storm created by Six Convergence is super good with Rakan, because it's just impossible to get away from him when he presses his ult. The slow is just gonna make it hit every single time, unless you flash way before it hits.
Yeah, absolutely. Rakan is one of those champions that is really hard to get away from the engage. I mean, not even a QSS is usually enough if you're good at Rakan to combo the Grand Entrance with the quickness to get the CC combos down. You need to be very quick on the spell shield if you're playing as the Sivir in this example. KRP will be able to make a lot of the protection going with the shield on towards Menjay, but right now Peterson and Menjay are snowballing in this 2v2. They have a strong lane, they have an aggressive lane that can go for these sort of strong plays, and right now with the Stand United available as well, I would not be surprised at all to see Menjay and Peterson go for some sort of an aggressive 2v2. To do that they need vision on Chronos and Eternity though.
Peterson is just a couple of seconds short of having his ulti up, and Linux is sitting with his ulti ready as well, so they can make a great play here on the top lane if they decide to.
Could go for that. There is Meganar on Finn, which is just about to wear off, so that means that it's not going to be any Meganar for a while, which means they can force a fight right now. And speaking of forcing a fight, they are starting up the Rift Herald in vision of PPK. Packa Pappas Capsec knows exactly what's going on right now, but they won't be able to do anything but to watch this Herald go down to Rollickhead.
We haven't been seeing a lot of good uses out of the Herald today. I think it has gone down almost every single match, and at most it has yielded one turret that has already been free. But we'll see here if Singularity can do something great with it.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see. I think it's still pretty cool to see that Herald, after being in the meta for so long, I don't think teams have still completely figured out how strong of an objective it is and how you're supposed to use it, because I think we're seeing a lot of different results coming out of that. Sometimes you can like get 2 towers that you wouldn't be able to get otherwise, and a lot of the time you won't be able to get anything.
Yeah, it's actually very hard to set up a very useful Herald. And that's partly why we see these teams struggling with finding a good way of using it.
Finn has not been impressing us too much on this Gnar, but as we take a quick look at the tower going down in the 1v1, as well as a 35 CS lead, he is really starting to become obnoxious in this 1v1 as the Gnar Hyper, the Gnar W, one of the strongest abilities in the game almost, with how much damage you're able to deal and how you're able to shred the tanks with that ability. So Finn really putting down the hurt in that 1v1, starting to scale up on this Gnar and starting to become really obnoxious for Linux to deal with.
We see Singularity picking up this Drake here. It's not gonna matter that much. However, it is gonna open up for another dragon spawning, which is a mountain, and that's an objective that they really want to get.
Absolutely. Cloud Dragon on the table is going to be somewhat strong with this comp with like Rakan, Shen, Olaf all benefiting from the extra engage right there. And speaking of engage, I'm not sure if they're looking for a tower dive here or what they're trying to do. With a Herald, they're going to make an attempt at forcing down this tower, and they will be able to get mid lane tower. But again, not sure if they had to use the Herald or if they would have gotten the tower for free nonetheless.
It's some nice security, like it's a guaranteed turret instead of... You don't have to fight as hard to get the turret, so it's always nice to crack the first turret in the mid lane to open up the map.
For sure, and going to be even more powerful with the Asirus. You can put down that Sun Disk tower to get a lot of extra map control right there. We do see Finn almost taking down the top lane tower as well, so this Gnar is starting to become pretty hard for Linux to deal with. He has chosen to roam around together with his team rather than going 1v1 with Finn. So this Shen not having the easiest of times, but still contributing a lot of utility to his team.
Yeah, I feel like both top laners are really doing their jobs this game. It's very hard for Finn. We see a dive coming in here. No.
Taunt misses from Lineups. If that would have landed, that could have been a potential kill on towards Finn. Did have his flash available, so probably would not have ended up with a death, but maybe with a summoner being forced. Gnar ulti used just to get some damage on towards Lineup, so Finn is really using all his cooldowns to pressure the 1v1. Rollickhead is sitting here though. Ooh, what a sidestep from Finn. Rollickhead is chasing, not sure if he can do something, actually forced to turn around, so Finn is really starting to look strong here.
Yeah, Finn is playing very well, as I was about to say. Both top laners are filling their role, doing their job. Finn, all he can do really is just push in Shen, try to punish him as much as possible, deny the CS that he can, and then if he is big, if he has Mega Gnar when he TPs and follows, that's all fine and dandy, but sometimes you just can't, and he has been doing very well at chipping down on this top lane turret.
Yeah, with that objective being picked up, the goal is starting to look very equal, just a 1.5k gold lead for Singularity. So PPK are starting to equalize this. Baron is up. Nashor is sitting pretty in the pit right now. Vision round, that is going to be very important for the next couple of minutes, but none of these teams can really burst down the dragon really quickly. There are no mountain dragons on the board, so Vision is going to be important but not crucial.
Yeah, we saw in the last couple of games a lot of mountain drakes spawning early, and in those games obviously the Baron is always in the risk of being taken super fast. In this game, however, it's not gonna happen unless a team fight breaks out. Or as I say that, they actually go for the Baron.
Caster Curse, this is gonna be a fight startup. Finn does not have Mega Gnar, is about halfway there with a TP, so this might be a fight that Singularity wants to take. I think like they just want to start up Baron to force PPK to come in and then turn for a quick engagement, but that's gonna be hard to make work. I mean, they have the Rakan flash engaged that they could go for, but they're just going to be losing the mid lane tower right now. They are trying to gap close though. There goes the Stand United, there goes the Predator on the Olaf. This is an engage that Singularity wants to take. Good disengage from KRP, and that is a great impale on Peterson. He just gets one shot, over commits into the enemy team without any sort of way to get out of that impaling. Great decision from Kronos, bad decision from Peterson. Good for PPK.
Finn actually managing to cancel out the Shen ulti there. Perhaps they did not manage to communicate it in time. Very well played by Finn and very well communicated by PPK to capitalize on this mistake.
That is really the Shen dilemma. You want to be available for that Stand United, but you don't want to be backing off so far from the minions that you're losing XP, that you're losing gold. So Lineups just treading on the edge there of where you can position as the Shen and choosing to stay a bit too aggressively and gets punished by Finn. He is really the MVP for PPK so far. Sure, the stats of Cookie is looking a lot stronger, but I think Finn is the shining light for PPK.
Yeah, he's playing really well, as I said earlier, and I feel like SNG are trying so hard to make something happen, but they have Saya Rakan, they have Azir, they scale super well into team fights. Sure, Olaf, you could make an argument that he scales off, but like Azir, no one scales as well as that champ, or almost.
Absolutely agree with you right there. Speaking more about the scaling, I think an important factor is that it's a full AP Galio. It's a Rod of Ages into Rabadon's death cap. As I say that, this is going to be a team fight. Rollickhead takes some punishment from the full AP Galio and the attack speed of Cookie. So let's see what cooldown's gone there. On the hunt for Cookie, traded for the Predator of Rollickhead.
Yeah, Rollickhead missing it.
Ooh, engage coming in there, and once more the Rakambo getting flashed away from Cookie, and Menja taking so much punishment from that big Galio with so much AP. These teams are so close, they're really neck and neck. 400 gold separates them at 24 minutes. They are so close and they know how much is on the line. They're playing for the final spot, so they really don't want to make a mistake.
Peterson still continuing to impress me. He's playing super well now after a couple of missteps in the early game, finding an engage on Cookie, forcing his flash and getting out without using any of his own summoner spells.
Very important catch right there. Mountain Dragon is up though. Will we be seeing a fight here? No, it looks like Singularity is going to be giving this over to PPK. Do they want to start up the Baron right now? No, they're going to be happy with just securing some vision control around the Baron. So trading the Baron Vision for the Mountain Dragon. And maybe even mid-tower. This is going to be a quick push for PPK, and Singularity are not in position to answer to this push. Quick, smart play from PPK are going to be rewarded by this tower. Completely neck and neck in the gold.
It's dead even on the gold, and Menjai is currently sitting on about 1400 gold. So I understand if he just wants to farm up, get his BF, and eventually get this insane 3-item power spike that Saya has.
Absolutely going to be a strong champion here. These 80 carry spikes kind of similarly, but I would argue that Saya is just stronger on the damage department pretty much across the entire game.
Yeah, especially since Severe is starting to build 2 different items here.
Ooh, that is true. Yeah, that is a bit weird. Why do you think he is going for this sort of a split build?
I can't really find a good explanation. Sometimes AD carries get conflicted. They wanna finish out their double seal items. Rapid fire cannon is really good because you can get in a lot of free basics pretty much. However, Infinity Edge this game is super good as well. Maybe he just decided that he wants the safe wave clear that comes with a rapid fire cannon.
We know how much pick potential there is for both teams around this big purple worm though, so they have to be so careful. Predator popped by Kronos. Ooh, this is so close. There's the big engage, and there's the lockdown on Eternity. He can't do anything. You have a death cap, you have a Rod of Ages. Singularity do not care, and that's the one shot on the Galio. Baron started up. This could be a game-deciding team fight, Evdiv.
Kronos has no flash, so...
Oh, flash engage from Blumsterfin as the camera goes wide there, and so much AoE damage coming down from Raxon and Menjai. These carries on Singularity are completely safe, but the Baron starting to work in favor of PPK, actually putting down the hurt right there. Finn coming in with a big flash, Gnar ulti, took down Peterson in the end, so a 1-for-1 there around the Baron. These teams are so close.
Finn really just doing what I was just about to say. They had to find an engage fast. Kronos had no flash. It would be super hard for him to get into the Baron pit for a steal. Finn finding a great engage there. The Baron, as you said, wearing down on SNG. Really well played by Finn. He's really impressing me this series.
Yeah, gotta say Finn is really the big MVP here, but also Eternity not contributing too much. He was a great Galio last game, but now getting like caught out, not in position. Got just hit really hard by Peterson, and with a full AP build so far, almost no tankiness, no tenacity, no magic resistance, that is going to be a hard situation for that Galio. So this build, it's the risky one, but it's not making it work so far.
Yeah, Sirius almost up 2000 gold on the Galio, and this just gonna completely destroy him in terms of damage. Like a Rabadons and a Rod of Ages, sure, that's all nice, but this Assyrius can hit 3 items pretty soon, and it's just gonna destroy your front line.
One advantage that they've got in that mid lane duel though is the TP compared to the cleanse. Right now Eternity is sitting in the bottom lane with the TP available, and since Linux has gone for a lot of armor in his items to counter out Finn in the 1v1, that could be the potential for Eternity to perhaps win out in the extended 1v1 and use that extra global to put down extra map pressure.
Yeah, we see actually Eternity not getting the better half of these trades here. Has to recall and regen to be able to teleport back in with full HP.
We can see that there is only one blue trinket on the team of PPK, and it's on cooldown, so they have to use vision wards to know what's going on in this Baron pit. This is a scary, scary position. I'd like to see at least one more blue trinket on their team to be able to get some more control around this Baron to secure the vision. They are going to be able to go in and get the clear on that vision there, as Rexon has to go towards the top side to clear out the waves, but PPK has to be so scared of the Rakan engage here.
If SNG got the early Mountain Drake, I think this game would have looked a lot different. SNG probably would look to start up the Nash instead of just baiting.
Oh, there's the quickness for Menjai. That is a big cooldown, you know, since he has the Seek's Convergence. That ulti is actually going to be pretty big. Wait, did he use the ulti or did I miss?
I don't think he used...
Oh, I must have seen... That was a bad call by me, sorry. Not using that big cooldown, so Peterson is just going to be staying safe. That is why I'm not a play-by-play caster normally. Baron getting started out though. This is going to be big. Eternity has the hero's entrance. This is going to be the big fight. Rollergate is taking some punishment already at half HP. Great Impale going down to Rax and has to flash, has to ulti to get away. Good flash taunt from Eternity. Shuts down Menjai without the ability to flash away. This is going to be 2 more kills for PPK. As Linux is going down, he's taking a lot of time to go down though. Flashes away, almost is able to get away. And 2 quick kills over to PPK with a great engage from Kronos, from Eternity, and Raxon getting punished for not... What was that Finn with a huge Gnar boomerang from downtown? Picking that up, picking up the Baron, and PPK just turned this game on its head.
Well, it happened again. Finn styling on Raxon there, using his, just throwing his boomerang over his shoulder, not even looking, getting a free kill as well. I've been hyping up Menjai so much, and then he just gets picked off unfortunately here in this fight. Still had his flash, still had his feather storm up. Eternity playing really well, finding that crucial flash taunt on him. And now this game has just been blown wide open again.
You can see how much freedom Kronos has. He has both the Righteous Glory and the Undead Hunt from the Sivir to power him up, and with no QSSs on the team of Singularity, he can pretty much pick and choose anyone he wants on the enemy team to pick up the Impales, to pick up the pressure there. So I think that the Skarner is really working out right now, even though he is in a bad matchup, so to speak, against the Olaf. He's able to make a lot of team fight presence known, and that is why Skarner is considered one of the strongest junglers at the moment.
Yeah, he was having a bit of a rough early game, and then suddenly, as soon as your team gets ahead, suddenly you can ult just about anyone. And as Singularity was so far ahead, they maybe thought that they didn't need QSS, and now suddenly all of them need QSS, and they don't have the funds to get them.
For sure, and the QSS is going to be the item for Menjai, but that means it's going to be falling even further behind a Rook Cookie, who is right now up a rapid-fire cannon on the enemy AD carry. That's going to be a big difference in the team fight damage. Sure, there's a Zeke's convergence to sort of buff up the damage of Peterson, but Cookie is going to start to become a big damage threat right now. You can see the damage going down on the towers with the auto-attack reset coming out of the W. Cookie's going to start to look real scary here in these fights, and I don't think he's been looking too impressive so far, but this is the point where he's really starting to scale up, and PPK are doing so well at utilizing this Baron with a 1-3-1 comp.
The Cookie is really just playing a kind of a no mistakes kind of game right now. He's just playing safe, dealing the damage that has to be dealt.
Oh, good engage from Peterson. There comes the Stand United. What a huge team fight this could be for Singularity. Rolling head goes down though, and there is a good catch coming in. So much damage coming in from Menjai though, but he is alone. This is a 5 versus 1, and this might be PPK taking down the game. Kronos with engage, double kill for Finn, and I think this might be the game if there's such a close fight, such a strong engage from Peterson, but not enough in the end. We might be seeing a Sweden versus Sweden final.
Yeah, we definitely will. Because PPK is definitely gonna get the Nexus here. Peterson wants to make the big play, carry his team to the finals. Unfortunately, not enough. They were too far behind. Baron buffed PPK, just too strong there.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing so well at splitting up in the 1-3-1, like Finn in the top lane, Eternity in the bottom lane, spreading those Baron minions out across the board. So I think Singularity really felt forced to go for the engage, but they were just too far behind, and even though Menjai put down a lot of damage, it was simply not enough.
Yeah, Desaya, she was super far ahead for a little bit, and then Eternity just finds the one target that it really needs to kill, and in that fight Raxon as well was completely split off from the fight, had to flash out, did almost no damage, and then when Saya is dead, there's just no threat that can ever touch the backline of PPK.
So definitely a lot closer than the first series, which was really one-sided. Even though there was a 2-0 to PPK here, it was really close, really back and forth. I think these teams were neck and neck by like 25 minutes. The goal was absolutely equal. Where do you think the big turning point was?
I think that SNG just didn't have the experience that you need to be able to navigate around these big neutral objectives. We saw both games, they managed to like lose a deciding team fight around the Baron. Kronos one time finding the Great Engage and Eternity finding a Great Engage the other time. So maybe they were just a bit too eager to kind of push their advantage instead of taking it slow.
For sure, and with that, 2-0 for Atlantis, 2-0 for PPK. The Swedish team's going 4-0, and that means we'll have a Sweden versus Sweden finals. How excited are you, as we see the graphic here?
I'm pretty excited. I mean, I wanted to see Sweden versus Denmark, but I mean, this is the second best thing. Sweden versus Sweden. I know I've seen both these teams play a lot, and they are super talented, stacked rosters, just so much individual talent on each team. And we saw, especially today, they really showed up macro-wise. They played super well against around objectives, even being able to play from behind, which is something you don't see often in these amateur teams. And I'm just really impressed by both these teams.
Absolutely. I mean, we did see Atlantis have a stronger showing today. Do you think that will transition to the finals, or do you think that's because they had an easier opposition in the semis?
I do definitely feel that they had an easier semi-finals here. Singularity really put up a good show. They had great drafts. They played a very solid early game, but their weakness was in the mid game and the late game.
So when we've been seeing these two Swedish teams go at each other for two best-of-threes right now, who do you think the most important player will be on each team in the finals?
Well, we talked a little bit about Atlantis earlier. I think that Aesthetic, the jungler for Atlantis, is very important for their success, as well as the big weakness of the team. If he doesn't get rolling, that might spell doom for Atlantis. And I think that PPK has more threats, kind of, in a way. Just a very balanced lineup. They have a great bot lane, they have great jungle mid synergy, as we saw in this series, as well as Finn. Just he blew my mind this game. He played super well on this Gnar, always finding a way to stop the Shen teleport or pressuring down turrets for free.
So last questions before we'll be turning this stream off. Who's going to win the finals? What's your prediction? It's going to be a best out of 5.
In a best out of 5, I think that I wanna say PPK because I feel like we haven't seen Atlantis ever play from behind. They have always had really strong solo laners and a good jungle matchup, but if they fall behind in the early game, then I do feel like PPK showed great understanding of how to move around the map and around the objectives, and in a best of 5, I would say PPK is going to come out ahead.
I have to agree with you right there. After seeing these two teams, I think it's going to be a close series for sure. But I think that Finn versus Sven might be the big important matchup right now, and I think Sven is just looking a slight bit stronger. So that's where I think this game, the finals, will be decided. But that's what we're going to be seeing on in about a week and a half. It's going to be the Sunday of April 1st. Do not miss out on that stream. Stay tuned to Twitter to find out updates at DreamHack LOL. You'll be seeing exactly what's going to be going on with the finals. Do you have any final words or shout-outs, Ivdiv?
I'm very proud of my Swedish boys. I do feel a bit of love towards Sweden right now, despite not having the rivalry in the finals. It's always really fun to see Sweden perform.
Great final words. Let's sign off with those. I've been Henning, you've been Ivdiv. Thank you for watching. See you in a week and a half when we have the grand finals.